Uh, Do we have any public comments? Is there anyone on Zoom?
No one on Zoom today.
Okay. I see no public comments, so can we accept these minutes for last meeting?
So moved.
Yeah, that looked okay to me. Second.
All in favor? We have meeting minutes here, yeah. You need a copy? Been moved and seconded, all in favor? Hello?
Aye.
Thank you. All opposed? All right. Treasurer's report.
Okay.
Good morning. Do we want to do this after the chiefs speak?
Oh, no, please continue.
Sure.
There's an agenda here, Elaine.
Okay, I know. All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Okay, so you received actually 3 different reports.
Yeah.
One was, I know, but just to finalize the fiscal 2025 was the latest one that came out. And basically what happened is after the town booked the adjustments, there were very few. The most significant adjustment was 85,000, which was recorded for HVAC payments. So I think that's pretty much complete, and maybe Megan can let us know about that. But nothing else was large, just some revolving fund credit card receipts that were recorded after the June 30th, you know, related to June 30th, but afterwards. We ended up the year in the general fund with an unexpended budget of $2,074. That was after a $42,000 adjustment to the appropriation account for the salaries that were not being expended with respect to the assistant director and the director. So it all made sense. We really had minor changes in that category other than that. Now, in addition, I've sent you a copy of the budget, condensed copy of the budget for 2026 in comparison to the 2024 and 2025 budgets, alongside the 25 actual numbers that have come through. We see an increase of 54,000 in the personnel costs from 25 to 26. That increase is for the new social worker, kitchen coordinator going to full time, an additional van driver, and an increase in the AD director's salary posted in what was posted on the website.
So can we?
Absolutely. No.
This is primarily for Megan. I wanted to find out, since we were talking about 2026 and we're started the 2026 budget. We used to have 4 full-time people and 2 part-time people. So where do we stand with that?
Do we want to talk
Number
about?
of full-time, number of part-time.
Sure.
On the payroll.
On the payroll? So we can talk a little bit more too during my report about recruiting. So right now we've recruited receptionists, part-time receptionists, and a full-time administrative assistant. There are other additional FTEs as stated in our budget that can be filled. Waiting for the director to come in and kind of make some decisions about what roles, how many hours, how that all wants to be done. So there is additional funding there for personnel beyond just our recent hirings, but I want to let the director make those decisions.
Okay. Because we have line items and the personnel on the
Yes.
payroll side of it, director, assistant director, and coordinator.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure that those positions are still there, or are you
Yeah.
going by just the budget?
So the budget's still there, and so those line items are still on paper. However, so most budgets are just 5111s for personnel, and there's some movement there. Of course, at Elder Affairs, things are a little bit more lined out in the accounting, but it's all things that can, as long as the bottom line there in personnel lines up at the end of the year, we're okay. So we can make some adjustments if we need to move an account number because we've decided the program person's going to be a transportation person or something like that. All of that's just administrative things that can be renamed and those account numbers can move monies as needed. So
So where we left off was, from 4 full-time, 3 part-time.
Mhm.
And once we move into 2026 here in the next couple of months, having a new director, those may shift a little bit.
Yes, that person can make the decision of, maybe we want a full-time programming person, whereas before we had part-time, and so they can make all of those decisions as long as it falls within the budget.
Okay, so what you're saying is the headcount can change as long as we're in the budget.
Yes.
Okay, because it's not what it used to be in the past.
Yeah.
In the past, we've had struggles with convincing the town manager to increase the headcount, even though we had the budget.
Mhm.
So if the headcount can change, but if we don't exceed the budget, that's different.
Yes, so we can make decisions on, we have to talk about how many full-time, because full-time then includes benefits, right? So we have to be careful about that. I said, but at the end of the day, we can make decisions about how we want all this to move as long as we fall within the budget and also the benefit expectations of the town manager.
And actually did add another person. It's a part-time position, but for the social worker position was added to our number of positions. 26.
So Joan is going to full-time?
Joan's not going to full-time, but before we were paying it through the formula grant, and now it's being funded through the town municipal funds. So the town took on that position.
So is
So what does that mean?
That means the funding that we get from the grant is open for other resources to be used.
So we no longer have to use the grant for personnel. We can start using it for other things that we might like. Yeah.
The purpose of the formula grant that we get from the state every year is to help foster programming and personnel to run those programs for elder affairs. And normally what you do is you try to implement a program using the grant to see if it gets legs, it takes off, and once it becomes something sustainable, then it's taken over by the town normal budget. And then you take that formula grant money and start another program. That's how you kind of grow your elder affairs programs. So that's the purpose of the grant.
We were also able to include the funding for the social worker this year too into the municipal funding. So that's no longer coming out of Social Service League. Or we no longer have to request from Social Service League for that to be funded. So so between those positions and a part-time van driver, we've done quite well this year.
And operating expenses pretty much where they were with a few increases that we've talked about through the year. So we should be okay going forward.
Are we tracking now that, I don't even know what to call it, the monthly invoices that go out for services? I know.
Oh,
in the
you're
past
talking
we went-
about my senior center?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think Meg is going to address that. How we're doing on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're tracking it to the point where they keep reminding me that I haven't paid.
That's good enough.
Although we didn't
So we're
get one.
consistent.
Somebody gets tracking it.
That's good.
I keep getting dirty look.
So.
There's been quite a lot of changes, so. Last month, we did not get our statements, I noticed, and I'm hoping we'll get them in September.
Mhm.
But I assume that was because of all the changes taking place in the front office.
Sure,
And
yeah.
everywhere else.
And I think there's some accuracy problems as well. That is an issue.
And hopefully they're being.
I had-
resolved.
Yeah, well, so part of it is, so we're working on that. What we're running into, and we have to figure out a way, and I'm open to ideas on how to solve this, but folks are going up to that front computer, they're checking themselves in, and they're not signing out. So whoever comes in after them is checking in as well. So it looks like, Jim has attended multiple classes that he hasn't.
That's a
And so he's really busy. So.
Can't explain it.
So we have to figure out a way to remind folks to sign out. And then also getting back to, we would have the people sign in. also when they got to class too, and comparing those to who signed in versus on the computer versus who signed in actually in person and double checking.
Is there a stop you can put on, if somebody's finished, that it won't go to the next one?
Well, it logs out after 30 seconds, but when we're busy,
Oh,
people are going, and
I'm
so,
just
yeah,
curious to
no,
see if
it's
it-
a good
yeah.
idea.
Well,
And
we
maybe,
talked about getting additional kiosks. too.
yes,
Yeah,
that's still on the list. That's a good
Why don't
idea,
we
yeah.
finish Elaine's report,
Yeah,
and then we
yeah,
can,
yeah.
when we get to.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, what is this program called that we're talking about? I don't even know how to properly call it, with the charges and stuff like that and the monthly
Oh,
billing.
Billing.
My senior center is our software, yeah, so we could
But-
just call it that,
Okay,
yeah.
I mean, that covers a lot more. Okay,
So moving into fiscal 2026, we received a statement on the 2 months ended where we're at within the general fund. The expenses within the general fund were 49,399 for the 2-month period. A little high because of some revolving fund expenses for instructor payments that were put onto the general fund, but will be reclassified over to revolving fund probably this month. We'll be able to reclass. So there were some misclassifications within the general fund. State formula grant is all the activity that we're probably going to see until we enter into new agreement for fiscal 2026. So the balance, what's reflected here is the front payments for personnel costs. The EOC grant has ended. It was the 25,000 that we received from the state to help fund the pergola. That has a hangover balance remaining of a negative 815 that has yet to be canceled out. I'm not sure what they'll decide to do with it. Maybe put it into that pergola CPC money. I'm not sure, but right, it's just $815. So the balance sitting in state formula is 69,501 at the end of August. Within the revolving fund, we're showing the excess of receipts over expenditures of 5,600. That's going to go down when we reclassify the instructor payments for August that have in the general fund. They're going to be transferred over to the revolving fund. The gift accounts, we have our balance of 53,848 of all funds. Unrestricted is 36,998. Capital projects.
Do you disperse funds out of gift account?
We did. Their social worker payments, payroll payments. Maybe some of those are going to go over to the general fund too, because we've had a balance in the social worker gift fund account that was being funded before we put it in, took it out. So we've taken out a little bit more than we had to put it in, but that'll be addressed in September 5th. And then capital, see, this just, I think this change in personnel. Exactly, right. It will. Capital projects, for some reason, the town put it through as a receipt kind of thing. It's just the appropriation for the stove and for the cameras of $37,000. None of the carry forward balances that I show at 12/31, it's June 30th, have been carried over by the town accountant yet. But we will continue to monitor it and make sure that the balances that get carried over are what we expected or reconcile any differences that could occur. I doubt it.
So on the capital expenditures, was voted in June at the town meeting. Do they anticipate, is there a schedule for events for either one of those for the next 12 months?
No, we don't have any, we're working on some of those things. We did, but no, there's no schedule yet.
So we're gonna use the old stove for Thanksgiving dinner.
Stove's been
Oh,
replaced.
no,
already.
Steve's stove's here. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Stove's already been
Oh,
completed.
It's
yeah.
got bells on it. You should see it.
Yeah.
I haven't
So
heard
the
the bell.
cameras have been wired, and
Julius.
so all we need is for the camera itself to be installed, but the wiring is all done.
and what's the location for the cameras?
Good question. So there's one out front here. I believe, is there one over here on the side?
Yeah.
Yep. And just on the outside perimeter. and majority of that was to just make sure that our vans stay protected, or any other of our outdoor property.
Okay, and that covers the burglary too, right?
So how many cameras are there?
Was there, I don't know the answer. I think there was 4.
4 to 6.
Yeah,
But not the bocce court.
Yeah. that's-
we're
I just
always
wanna know
watching
how
the
to
bocce
behave.
court.
I want to know that
That
how to
camera's been
behave
there for a
out
while.
there.
It's gonna be a special edition of America's Funniest Home Videos. Taking it to watching.
Oh, let me tell you, you don't know how many times we say to each other, welcome to bocce at the senior center. Anyway,
Any other questions, concerns, comments?
Have a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Moved.
That's one.
All in
Thank you,
favor?
Elaine.
Opposed? Director's report.
Great, thank you. So as you all know, our van is here, and we're looking to, put some artwork on it to represent Elder Affairs. So we've been working with David Passon. And he came up with 2 designs, for the board to take a look at and make a decision on, either those 2 or maybe some changes to those designs. I do have an email into him regarding the cost of these designs. I believe there was $600 given back to us from the van company who were originally going to do the designs. We don't expect that it's going to be completely covered by that $600, but I'll have some more
thank you.
detail.
Your decision.
And Chief, if you want to talk a little bit about the process and
If you didn't get a chance on your way in to take a look, the van is parked out front. It's in service. Obviously, the last thing to do is the logos and lettering. Spoke to David about that a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and these were his original concepts. There is some issues with the way the doors are set that you can't put because it's a sliding door. You have to set it up a certain way. So that's where he came up with those 2 different ideas to try and stay away from those areas that, of course, he shows it on the driver's side, which you don't really notice it as much. But on the passenger side, that's where that sliding door is.
Yeah.
That's why he came up with the logo with it up on the roof above the door. And then what's we have on the other vehicle, as far as what's on the actual doors, and the drivers and passengers door of the vehicle. So,
You can play around with the font size, make it smaller, make it bigger.
this is just a concept from David, on what was possible. So whatever, it's more a case of what do you prefer for logoing outside of the the passenger and the driver's door.
So option 1 with the blue background with the white lettering. That's what's on all the other vans, except it's one line because the vans don't have the sliding door. So
Right.
This one right here is similar to the other 2 vans out there. That was really not to scale, so he could probably reduce the size of that to make it look a little more consistent with the other 2 vans.
Okay.
So I'm a proponent of option 1 to have it look like the rest of the vans.
Makes sense, yeah.
And obviously, the only, as I pointed out to people that did get a chance to take a look at it this morning, there was one little glitch, and it's a handhold that is missing that sits on the top of the first seat. And that's going to be addressed by the van company, and we'll get that taken care of, whether they will send somebody up to get the van, drive it back, fix it, and then return it the same day. So we won't lose any problems with that. And we're starting to use it. There were a couple of little comments made that some people don't like the shoulder harnesses that are on the seats. It's like, well, I don't know what to tell you about that. And that it's a little tight going between the seats because the van's not as wide as the body on the bus, as I refer to it. So the issue is, and we were talking about it this morning, the two rear, it's 3 seats on the driver's side, 3 seats right behind the driver, and then 2 double seats. And both of those fold up against the wall. So the total passenger component for this is 3 + 2 + 2, and then 2 single seats on the other side. So if you only had 5 people, you wouldn't have to use those 2 other seats. You can fold them up out of the way. And that doesn't include the passenger seat on the bus. So you can also put somebody in the passenger seat if you had a full charge. So that's where we offer options, and there are, the way they put these steps on the side, it's pretty easy to get in and out of. Big metal step that they put in place instead of a little flimsy plastic thing that would have come from Ford. Past that, you know, it rides so much better than the other vehicle, and the gas mileage on a first look is the bus. And don't cringe when I say this, the bus gets 7.8 miles to the gallon. The van is double that plus. So, you know, we'll use the van as we, you know, as we see fit. The only problem, and really it isn't even a problem, it's just the idea that the lift goes out the back doors.
Yeah.
So you can't use it on a road. Namely because you don't want somebody driving into the back of the van while you've got somebody on the way.
Yeah.
So it's just a safety piece, so they tell you that you should use it in a driveway, in a parking lot, wherever. So not just on the side of the road. That all being said, we do have some clients that are using the lift to get in and out of the bus
Mhm.
at the present time, because they have a hard time climbing the stairs. So they use that to get in. They don't have the same problem getting out. It's, you know, stepping down is not a problem, stepping up is. So we are using it for that. That being said, that's kind of where we stand on it. Thankfully, it's been delivered.
Yeah.
All the payments have been made, and we're off and running. So I don't expect that we'll have to worry about replacing a vehicle for the next 10 years. That's my thought process. Everything is new. 2 2024s and a 2025. So 10 years from now, there'll be some discussion of, you know, needing to replace things. But all being said, we did pretty well between the state grant for the bus, the sale of the 2 vans, and the purchase of what we presently have. Pretty good number, all said and done. So
Is there any expenses left for communication systems?
So the only thing we have the radios, we just haven't put them in. So there will be some kind of an expense, but I don't know exactly what that's gonna be at this point. We have a company that we, being police, fire, and now elder affairs, that we use for the installation of that stuff. But because we already own the radios, we took them out of the other vans. It shouldn't be a big deal.
So, when scheduling the van, I don't know who's going to be doing that on a regular basis, but, we're basing it off of need and destination as opposed to mileage, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
So,
it's kind of the dance of who's going to be on it and where are we going. We like to keep the bus in Cohasset whenever possible. So tomorrow, as an example, we have the lunch and the lunch return at 1 o'clock. At the same time, we have a 1 o'clock trip to Hanover. So Heinz, the new driver, if you haven't had a chance to meet Heinz, he will be doing the lunch with the bus in Cohasset. And I'll be taking the van to Hanover. So that'll be, you know, Hanover for a shopping trip. And that's an example of what we're doing with this. So it's on top of the fact that the van is meant to be a backup for the bus. Whenever one of them needs to be serviced, we have the other one to use. And we're still tweaking how we're going to use it and how, you know, how things are. that bus gets the exact same mileage as the old one did. So from a fuel standpoint, we already know what we spent in years past, and as long as we stay within that. That being said, we are becoming a victim of our own success, that we seem to be transporting more people, on a quick look, and we have more seniors that are asking to get to lunch especially. So we'll be running the bus at least 4, sometimes, well, at least 4 days a week, and then go from there.
So in our budget, for probably the last 5 or 7 years, we've always had $2,500 for fuel. And it's never changed, and we didn't use the vans that much. We were assessing all of these vans. I think we were averaging 5,000 miles a year on one of the vans, and at $3 a gallon, you're looking at $1,500 fuel. So if this van, let's say, is going to be double the cost of fuel because it's 7 miles a gallon versus 15 miles per gallon, so you're probably going to talk about if you were to use this as much as
It's actually the other way around.
it's
The
going to be
bus itself gets 7.8.
right,
The van gets double that,
right, 14.
14.50. Yes.
So we only have budgeted $3,000 for fuel, and we can probably take a quick assessment if we're going to be running both vehicles more often, because we are growing. Then that's something we would want to take a look at. But to Megan's point, similar to the payroll, doesn't matter who's in the payroll as long as you don't exceed the payroll number. In our expenses of $45,000, we can move those around from
Absolutely.
account to account
Right.
if we need to adjust for more fuel. So I just want to make sure that everyone knows we were not making decisions on where to go based on mileage because of fuel. I just want to make sure. we
Yeah,
know
we're
where
just-
people want to go.
Yeah, we're just,
Okay.
our number one priority is service. So getting to people to where they need to be, and we will work out the numbers as needed. But our number one priority is get people where they need to be.
Along that line, Paul, we're only doing one special trip a month at the present time, the second Tuesday. And because now we have a third driver, we may try to increase that. We're gonna see what the demand looks like, and if anybody wants to, especially coming into the holidays. There have been some, everybody has their favorite place they want to go. And one of them might be a monthly trip to Market Basket, because that's all I hear about. Stop and Shop and Shaw's every single week isn't enough. We need to get the Market Basket too.
And
So, so that's okay. But that's, we may add that to the to-do list.
I mean, that's a beautiful van.
Yeah, right.
It's going to be very popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Chief, what's our inventory after we get rid of the old stuff?
So what we'll have is the bus, the big bus,
Yeah.
the one that's paid with the state grant, the van, the tall van, the minivan, which is what we use for medical rides, and then the electric car, which technically belongs to the town, not to us.
Do we use it anymore?
The electric car, yes.
Okay.
As an example, today, we have, I think, two fish drivers, the van being used and the minivan being used all at the same time. So the only reason we are not in the electric car in the van is because Heinz took the van to bring people this morning and then back, and then we'll shift gears and probably run the blue car, the Nissan Leaf, and then the minivan. And the way we kind of are dividing that up is that we try to run the Leaf within the town of Cohasset.
Yes.
It has a 160-mile range. It's not like you're going to run out of electricity in it. But we use the minivan to go out of town to Weymouth, Norwell, wherever. Mostly right now, it's all medical rides. And the medical rides during the summer, they kind of decrease a little bit. And then all of a sudden in September, October, they start to ramp back up. And we're seeing that right now. We're seeing that a lot of people are looking to get to and from, because we do offer those things. And, the vehicles So we have technically 4 vehicles. The other old bus, the 2009. I guess technically we'll say belongs to recreation. Okay, it's going to be transferred to them and they will be the ones responsible for taking care of it. And they use it during the summer for the summer camp. And then they will use it for whatever programming, and that may also include transportation for, I'm trying to think, for,
If they wanted to start doing some trips or things like that too, they
Like
could start using
Fun
that.
trips to places.
Yeah, or something like that.
And I think
But it's
also
usually in the
the,
summer.
the other program that uses the vans every once in a while would be,
Rise?
no, I was thinking about,
Safe
why
harbor.
am I drawing?
Oh, Safe Harbor.
Safe Harbor.
Yes, yes.
So Safe Harbor would have access to that also. And if it, as long as it's up and running, and right now it looks kind of, please don't go look at the old one, it looks pretty gross. It needs a power washer put to it, so, we'll take care of that before we turn it loose completely. And I'm not sure where they want to store it. If they want us to keep it here, that's fine. We have plenty of parking now that the pool has called it, a year, I believe. Diana, isn't that what I saw? So we'll move everything out from under the trees right now and clean the tops off again. And then once all the leaves fall out of the trees, we'll put them back over on the side again out of the way. But in the meantime, we're just trying to keep things clean by getting them out from the trees.
Is there an end of term use on that electric vehicle?
That's a town decision more than anything else. We own those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's 2 gray ones and a blue one that the town owns, Nissan Leafs. When we bought those, we got a really great deal from the Nissan dealer who happens to live in Cohasset. So we own the 3 of them. I believe at some point there'll be a discussion on when they need to be replaced, but I don't know what that looks like at this point. Presently, the Leaf only has 22,000 miles on it. So as long as it continues, the biggest headache with the Leaf is what happens if there's a problem with the battery.
Yeah.
That's when you don't replace the battery, you replace the car. And the other piece is we discovered that because of the weight of the vehicle, believe it or not, it has a problem with tires. But using Wilder Brothers for our local repair and the tire dealer. Glenn has told me that the tires that they put on are a lot better than the ones that came with the original. So we shouldn't have to worry about that for quite a while.
So in splitting hairs, it's a town vehicle. So they're absorbing all the maintenance and repairs.
I believe so, yes.
So it's not our budget.
No, not from our budget. We don't pay for the electricity to charge it. We don't pay for any. Just don't plug it in.
Before we get rid of the old one, do we want to take the hubcaps and put it on the one that came without hubcaps?
There's a hubcap missing, so even.
Oh, okay. So we get
The
3.
3 we have on, there's one missing. So
Well, I noticed a new one has hubcaps, so that's good.
I just have it's not directly related to the status of the vehicles, but it's definitely a van / transportation question. Is there a reason that the senior center does not accommodate people in assisted living? Like somebody at Sunrise can't call and schedule a ride. And I've asked the question several times, and I don't understand what the issue is. And then this part, maybe it's an insurance issue, maybe it's a turf issue. I have no idea, but I'm just curious. There are people there they're certainly seniors and can be incorporated.
It's a great question. We've looked into this just a little bit, just on the surface recently. So, and we've looked at some policies of local elder affairs departments as well. They don't seem to include folks in assisted living either, but I don't think that makes it right, just because other people aren't doing it. So we've looked at it. It's really a bandwidth issue for us right now. We've talked about creating a partnership with Sunrise specifically to have folks maybe come down here for lunch or, enjoy our programming. For medical rides, it's a bandwidth issue because there's a lot of folks there. They do provide medical rides there for some people. So there's not always a need for our medical ride service with them. But it is something that we're looking at. You're not wrong. There's seniors there and they're Cohasset residents. And
Just another address in Cohasset.
sure. So we are looking into it. I don't know what the end will be. Again, another thing for the
Okay.
next director, but it's been brought to my attention early on, and it's something that we've definitely chatted about.
It's come to my attention personally. Obviously, my sister-in-law lives up there
Oh, okay.
and takes an Uber back and forth every
Oh.
time she comes to and from. She's here for lunch and bocce twice a week. She's here for it's Bella, and she's here for other special events or whatever else. So she either takes an Uber or has to make some other kind of arrangement. And I'm just wondering.
It would be a big thing to take on for us. And so, because we obviously want to offer it to everybody who's there, and there's a lot of folks there. So it's probably more of a bandwidth issue than anything else.
Yeah.
Also, some of them have different mobility strengths. And so we only have one wheelchair van. And so what does that look like? So you're not wrong, but I think I just don't know if we have the resources to be able to offer it to everybody there.
I used to drive Dorothy Donahue up there. My husband and I used to drive her for physical therapy
Mhm.
twice a week. I mean, through Fish.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we had done it in the past.
Mhm.
So,
I think Fish might be a different scenario too. That's through the
We've
state.
gone through this with Nancy early on.
Yeah.
And because we had two issues, we had Elm Street, 60 Elm Street.
Yeah.
Where there was a concern about being a taxi service to some of these facilities. Sunrise is a privately held corporation, and they have a lot of rules and guidelines, and of course they've got to go through all the state rules and guidelines as well. And there were some issues with being able to transport people in and out of there because it's assisted living,
Right.
which means that the people there need assistance, and we don't have the capacity to. We don't have the nursing staff. We don't have the ability to handle some of the folks that are there. So those were some of the issues that kind of curtailed us going on a regular basis there. So it's something that has to be coordinated with the management of Sunrise more than anything else. And I think some of the guidelines of transporting people that need assistance is the issue.
Yeah. All right, I
Yeah, it's a good question.
just wanted to bring it up and
Yeah.
see if there was some.
Well, we do cover Elm Street, right?
Oh, yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
Next piece of my report is personnel. So we have hired 2 individuals to join us. And again, we hired these 2 individuals before a director because we are very low in staffing, and these are 2 essential positions. So we made the decision to hire these 2 positions and get them on. And then again, the director can make decisions about other positions that are budgeted for. But we're very excited to have Arlene DiLorenzo and also Morgan Benedetti join us. So Arlene will be at our front desk. She's been a teacher for many, many years. She lives just in a neighboring town. And Morgan is joining us as the administrative assistant. She has a background in working in a dental office, so processing all the insurance bills and scheduling folks and working with people who, not all of us love going to the dentist. So she's really great at working with people and brings a very smiley presence. So we're excited to have both of those individuals come join our team.
Along those lines, In the past, well, I guess since January, we've lost 120% of our full-time staff.
Mhm.
Now, have you conducted exit interviews with those folks?
Yes, everybody gets, everybody gets a link for an exit interview. It's their choice as to whether they fill it out or not.
Is there any common thread as to why we're losing people?
So nothing specifically in the exit interviews, but what I can say is I think as we change leadership, it's a natural occurrence, unfortunately, that things change and people don't like the change or other opportunities come up. And so, we've had 2 changes in leadership recently, and so that has brought some changeover.
But we're not seeing a common thread in the exit interviews that say, this is why I can't put up with this anymore.
No, I mean, again, it's kind of just, it's based around the changes that maybe leadership is putting in or things like that. So there's nothing consistent, no.
I'm amazed we've been able to hang on, really.
And over 100% in the last
Yeah,
year is, I mean,
120%.
people make changes,
Yeah.
but that seems a little different, that's all.
I
That
just
has
wanna
been a lot.
Make sure we don't have some systemic problem that we're not seeing.
Yes, yeah. I agree.
So, and then speaking of new leadership, if you're,
Okay.
yeah, okay. We just finished the second round interviews for a new director. We have some really great candidates, 2 of which are in the Elder Affairs departments locally. One has a background in municipal leadership that includes Elder Affairs, who's a community services person, and one person who has done some programming for older adults and has a very high level management role. We received a lot of great candidates. These 4 are all very strong. So we're looking forward to going into the final interviews, which will include a small panel, and one of those folks on that panel is Nancy LaFosse. So she'll be sitting in on the interviews moving forward. Nancy has also agreed to work on our state report this year and work with either Maura or our new director on doing the state report. And so she is available to help with that as well.
Sounds good.
That's good.
Yes,
How
so
do we cover her expenses?
for paying, so
Being-
she is volunteering to come be on the panel, which is very nice.
Yeah.
And the town, we will find a way to cover the expenses for the training. We have some monies in our personnel line because we haven't had a director. So there's a little funding there. She thinks it'll take about 20 hours, so it's not a huge undertaking.
If we have money to get the account, there's a stipend that we could pay her as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of the grant.
Any questions about that? I know that's a hot topic.
When is she coming? Nancy?
Nancy, and for the next round of interviews that haven't quite been scheduled yet, so.
When do you expect to have an appointment?
I'm gonna say mid-October at the very, very latest.
Oh,
Good.
Yeah, the final round is next, and it's happening probably in the next week or 2. And so we'd make that I would have that person meet the personnel board that we put in place here. And then we'd make that announcement, and then we could do a nice big meet and greet and get this person off on the right foot.
yeah.
Good.
And then in further news, very exciting, we have our community dinner coming up, which Jim and Maura have worked on together, October 30th. I know this is always a really fun time for the board and everybody else, and so we'll start working on coordinating that as a team as well. Building update. We've had a little bit of fun with the walk-in refrigerator. So over a weekend, maybe 3 weeks ago, it dipped above what it should be for proper meals, food storage. And so we had to clean out the entire fridge because everything in it had gone bad, which included some things from the friends as well. So it wasn't terrible. It was a lot of milk and butter and those types of things. So we had a company come in and they told us that there was a small leak and so they couldn't patch the leak because it was in an odd spot, and also that we still use Freon, so it would be difficult for us to find parts. And they recommended that we replace the entire system, including the condenser on the roof. So at that time, we decided to get a second opinion.
I think it was a little upselling.
Yeah. And the fellow came in to provide us a second opinion, actually didn't find a leak at all.
Huh.
So we're in a little bit of a strange place. We're keeping a diligent eye on the fridge. I don't think we're ready to put in a capital request or something like that. However, we are keeping a close eye on it because heaven forbid it would go down again and we'd lose everything in it.
Yeah.
So we're kind of in a weird space right now where we're not really even sure if there is a leak. So we are going to call in a third opinion.
was gonna
We're
say
in the
when-
process of doing that. Yep. And so we'll see what happens, but
Is it too close to the new stove?
maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. So that's where we are with that adventure. Let's see, unfortunately, we had to postpone Grandparents' Day. And we're looking forward to celebrating the 10th anniversary. I put in the lineup here. We've reached out to Stevie G's is going to do our continental breakfast for us, which is very nice. Yes, yeah, very nice. And we're working on some music and hors d'oeuvres. I've reached out to the Hingham Conservatory. However, if anybody has a contact for some acoustic music, any suggestions would be welcome. Music,
Acoustic
if you know
music.
anybody who could do some acoustic music.
Yeah, I can ask Nina Walford, he used to be there.
Great. Yeah, thank you.
And it would be nice at the community dinner too. The last community dinner we had some live music
Oh, okay.
and people loved it.
Yeah,
So
Great.
We could
Okay.
arrange that dinner as well.
Okay.
Sure.
Can I just back up and ask a building question?
Yeah.
I mean, have you completely gone from building to events? But the air conditioning upstairs.
Mm.
Uh,
So facilities is aware of that. It is down and I think they're just working out a schedule with the tech to come in and fix it. They don't seem to think it's a big problem. There's a clog somewhere. And so they need to just remedy that and it should be all right.
I hope it's no charge.
Yeah, well, I would hope not to. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on that.
We just spent
Yeah, we have to close the
$750
building
million
down.
for that and, oh,
Yeah.
whoops, I don't know. I go well in my
Actually,
house.
cheaper. Came in below budget,
Did it?
it was like $395 or something like that,
Yeah.
Ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe they just didn't fix the upstairs.
Maybe
That's why it's
maybe
in
they
another
left.
budget.
New system pains. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, okay, I
Carrie?
just wanted to.
Let us know what's going on with the coffee machine,
Sure.
the installation.
So we did have the filter installed and that's all set. We have a new coffee maker on the way. However, whereas the one that we have in place is working and that the filter has been installed, we're just kind of like an old car, like letting it go until it's, and then we'll put the new one in.
So is there a 110, 220 with that coffee machine?
So the new coffee machine will need the 220, thank you, 220. We have, the electrician is aware that needs to be done, but the current one needs the current system. So until that one leaves us, we'll flip it. Yeah, so, but the filter's all in place, so hopefully it'll last longer than even we were hoping for.
Any other questions for the director?
Yes.
Just a shout out for the island as we enter. the
Yeah,
area.
Yeah.
pretty,
Fabulous.
looks so nice.
Landscape,
Yes,
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
yeah.
That
Good.
was well done. The other one needs to be attended to, I think, by the music service.
Yeah.
Back on the cameras again, when
Yes.
do we expect those to be installed?
I'm not aware of any schedule. I know they've been ordered. So it would be IT. Yeah, that would be the IT department. I can ask them. I know they've been ordered, but I don't know what the turnaround time is for cameras.
Another thing that's been ordered, I know, is the guardrails for the bocce court.
Yeah,
Yes.
And I think new bags of bocce material as well. When is all that gonna take place? They
So
were
I'm
ordered in
actually
June.
surprised the guardrails haven't come in yet, so I'll check with Maria on that. I know
Yeah,
she's
we
been,
need to, before they're installed, we need to have them come talk to us because there's a specific place to put those.
Yeah.
okay, okay.
That is-
Let me touch base with Maria, because those were ordered quite a
Yeah,
while
yeah.
ago, so
You
let me,
ordered them.
yeah, so let me ask about that.
Okay, thank you.
New surfacing material?
The new surfacing, so we can get that. I think our hiccup is how to level, who's gonna level it, who's gonna keep it leveled, who's gonna maintain it. So we can get the new product and we can get it down, but it's a matter of who's gonna continue to,
Well, we
Keep it up.
maintain it.
you don't
The
mind.
tools
okay.
are out there.
Okay.
And we maintain it.
Oh, okay.
Every time before we start playing, I
Oh,
try
okay.
to rake it and brush it. and
Okay,
It's just that it's worn down to
Option one or two.
almost
to
nothing.
the base. So
All right,
Yeah,
let me
we
get,
just
I'll
did
get
it
that.
before.
done.
I think they just didn't put enough. When they did the resurfacing, they
Okay.
just didn't put enough material.
Okay, all right, so I'll get some more then. Can,
Any other questions for the director?
Yes.
Comment someone made to me. Is it possible to put in the Vista where you list all of the employees?
Mhm.
Their extension numbers?
Yes.
so that
Oh,
when you
yes.
call,
that's a
you
great
don't
idea.
have to go through
Yeah.
the whole list to find out what's.
So that's a good point.
Yes.
Also, I know the issue has been staffing, but with the new person coming in for the desk job, it would be really, really great. And I have had comments and experience myself going, I had to go to 3 machines before. That's when you call here, you get somebody and then you get put to somebody else who tells you what extension it is, and then you have to go and leave a voicemail. I guess I'm old fashioned. I just like the old fashioned service. So,
You mean a human answering the phone?
yeah, otherwise it's like Comcast. I
Pretty
mean, it
radical
makes-
move.
So, okay, I'll look into that. Does it not say if you stay on the line, the receptionist will pick up the phone?
no, it doesn't.
No.
Right to a list.
Yeah, and I understand that there's been confusion at the desk and that kind of stuff, but,
What are you talking about? During hours or?
yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
during hours. If you
During
call
hours.
right now, you go, first of all, to the Elder Affairs will answer your phone soon. And then you get this.
All is important.
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah.
It's not important enough to answer.
But let's see how important it really is.
We need some elevator music to go with it.
Everybody's looking at the new van.
Yeah.
Is
Thank
that it for the director?
Are we supposed to vote on these?
We'll get to that in a second.
Okay,
All right, can I have a motion to accept the director's report?
So moved.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Chief, do we need a vote on which option we'd like to see on the van?
Well,
How's that gonna happen?
I would like to get a little bit of input on what you prefer. And then, as Paul mentioned, if it's option one and the font seems a little big, can we get a better piece from David in regards to, in other words, do you like the Cohasset Elder Affairs on the side or up on the top of the roof?
All those
That's
in
really
favor of
what it
option
comes down.
one, raise your hand.
Which one's
Which is one?
This
The one
is,
that's on the side.
Option one.
this is option one. Okay, this is option two.
Yeah, I'd much rather.
Okay, looks like
That
option
seemed to
one
be-
is the.
oh,
Okay, so you'd prefer to see Cohasset Elder Affairs on the side of the van, not up on the roof?
Yeah.
Because when the door opens,
And
you
then-
still see the sign.
It's
So we have to shrink the font, they shrink the font. Okay,
Yeah.
no problem.
All have that blue
They're on the side.
rectangle
They
No,
do, yeah.
background.
They do.
Well, they have a stripe.
Out there.
They have a blue stripe that runs from front to back,
Oh,
and it's in the blue stripe.
Yeah,
okay. I just don't like that.
yeah, I don't like that. either.
I just think it's the distortion of the way.
And keeping consistent with the request of extension numbers.
Mhm.
Can we have the town manager's extension on the van?
Yeah.
Complaints department?
Bada boom.
your call is important down there.
Any and all complaints, please see.
I think as far as. the
It would have
side of the
been
van,
number one.
Cohasset Elder Affairs, it would, that kind of makes it look like there's a big blue box.
Yeah,
It would just be the stripe,
yeah.
like the.
Yeah.
Oh,
side of the
okay,
box.
all right.
Okay, otherwise, would it
Cohasset
just
Elder
be
Affairs within it.
blue lettering and not have the like it is on the top, but
Yeah. We can talk to David about that.
Yeah.
You know, that's not a big issue.
Yeah,
I don't think-
it's cheaper, just blue lettering.
I'll bring that up to him when I speak to him later today, that can we just do blue lettering that says Cohasset Elder Affairs down on the.
Yeah, I like that option even better.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, moving
All
on.
right.
We have Chief Quigley and Chief Dockery with us today. Thank you for your patience, gentlemen.
Good morning.
They have requested some time to address us about the new public safety building, and I just want to say in the beginning, as a disclaimer, this is obviously a hot button topic about town, so I don't want this presentation to be construed as an endorsement on the part of CEA. This is just public information. The more we can get, the better for sure.
Yeah.
And we appreciate their taking the time to give us some of that information.
Hand out there. Good to see everyone. Should we stand?
Yeah.
What is it?
No, this is comfortable for you.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having us. It's actually been really interesting to listen to your meeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just not something I normally come to.
Yeah.
Endless fascination.
It is.
Yeah, you look like you were enjoying it.
It's sort of funny. Things, you struggle with a lot of the same issues that we have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
With that, we just want to provide some information about the proposed new building, public safety building at 135 King Street. I handed out, John and I prepared a few slides. There's just some basic information, and there's some budget information there too. One of the things to know is we have not received the bids yet. The bids are due. They were due on the 8th, but we extended it for a couple weeks because we figured the word from our OPM, the owner's project manager, was if we extended the bid for 2 weeks, we would get better pricing. They have a real pulse on the building industry, and he has indicated to us that there's a lot of major projects in the area that are coming to an end, and it's going to free up contractors who are in the area, and we should, do very well. So we thought it was prudent, a prudent thing to do. The current building that we work out of, combined police and fire station, 44 through 62 Elm Street. How they come up with those numbers, we have no idea. Because 62 is before 44. It's a different. Maybe Chief Sylvia can explain that to us. But the building was built in 1962, and I can speak for the police department. It was built. I went back through the town reports from 1961 and 62, and you'll be fascinated to know that Elder Affairs is called the Bureau of Old People.
Really?
So-
Put that on the side.
Just POOP on the side of the.
Oh,
$25 a letter.
Wait, oh, come on. And people will say, what's that?
So it was built, the station was built in 1962 for 9 male police officers. Today, we have 27 officers, 21 of them are full-time officers, and we have 2 female officers. The remainder, the six officers are special officers. They work part-time, so they're per diem employees. So 21 full-time people are working out of that, sworn people are working out of Elm Street. In total staff, if you count the desk attendants and desk attendants, crossing guards, school resource officers, we have a total of 35 employees department-wide. Again, it's 21 full-time, but we have 35 people.
And what about fire?
So fire in 1962, we had 14 members. And now we're trying to get to 26. We have openings right now that we're trying to fill. That'd be 24 line firefighters, and then myself and the assistant chief would be 26 plus. So and then back then, 1962, out of the 14 members that are on duty, there were also 3 fire stations in the town of Cohasset. And in the early 80s, after Prop 2.5, we condensed it down. Well, the town condensed it down to 1 station in Elm Street. So, and then the new services that we've offered since 1982 We have fire prevention, we have Cohasset Cares that addresses the smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors in elderly homes. We also have a safe that we go into fire education. And the biggest thing is we have provided EMS to the town. First, it was a basic ambulance level service. Now we're at paramedics. So the service that we provided the last, say, 40 some odd years has increased. And one of the things we have is an ambulance, a second ambulance that we can't even staff because it's not even under our roof. Because it's behind town hall in the garage. This public safety building now will allow us to have 2 stations and will allow us to have all our equipment under one of our roofs that we can staff if we need. Right now, to staff that other ambulance takes about half an hour because we can't keep supplies on it because it's not licensed where it's garage because it's not manned. If we bring it under our roof, now we can put all the equipment on it, and if we need it, we can spin it up in 30 seconds. So those are some of the features that a second building for us would benefit the town drastically. And we've also did a study on our response times. Adding a second station up on 3A will reduce response times to the Beechwood section of town, and North Cohasset reduce it by at least 1 minute and 20 seconds. So some of the benefits that we're building a public safety building on 3A for the community.
Well, one of the things that's been a hot topic of discussion was the $10.4 million price tag. Where did that originally come from?
Yeah.
Who came up with that number? I can tell you, neither of us come up with that number. That was not us.
But there was a meeting where it was proposed before the advisory board when and that was from 2 years ago. We watched that, it's taped and everything, but that was the proposal at that time. So that's where the number came that everybody thought was what it was going to be.
Yeah, John and I would speak for you. We were told prior to that meeting, you have $10.4 million. We said, that's not enough.
Right.
Where did you come up with this number? And they did a basic calculation of what they thought square footage would be. Yeah, they didn't, police stations, fire stations, emergency operations center, they're loaded with special equipment. Security, the lobby is bulletproof, quite frankly. The windows on the building on the first floor are blast proof. That's just the times we live in. I mean, we all seen what happened. We had a deranged person come in the lobby of the police station.
Get your chainsaw.
And attempt to chop down the door. I mean, almost got through it. So these are things that are needed for police station. That all adds expense, but when that $10.4 million number was proposed, to be honest, I was sort of taken back with that. And we were just told, we'll deal with it later.
Yeah.
And it's later.
A year, just like
Yeah.
it's a year later. I mean, from my perspective, that particular town meeting, we were voting on 3 major capital pieces. One was putting money away for roads.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people know because we get money from the state anyway for roads. But we're doing that anyway. Was 10 million for this station, which nobody disagrees with having it there, and everyone, it was probably the one piece that everyone was pretty much on board with.
Mhm.
Because you live on a street that's private and you will never get paved, but you're putting money away for your street, right? So, and then it came to the moving the town hall, right? But there was no backup plan as to what to do with the old one, which is why I think that didn't go through.
Right.
The one that everyone was behind was this one, was the putting the police fire station up on King Street. And we were led to believe that if you buy the building for 8 or 10 million and do some build out, that's all we needed to do. And the select board member, Mr. Flex, stood up and he said that, Hingham built the Taj Mahal fire station, right, in the harbor. And he said to us that they paid 50 million for that. And this was the bargain of a lifetime to only spend 10 million for this facility. Now we're at 30 million, right? And my question to them is, when you look at the square footage, we're more expensive per square foot than the Taj Mahal in Hingham. So I don't know where they're getting, all of a sudden it went to 30 million is the question I have. And it would have made sense to demise the facility and build a new one. You know, I don't know, it's not a question for you guys. I'm just, as a resident of the town, I'm saying, you told us to buy this for 10, then you turn around 12 months later and tell us you need another 17.
I don't like this one bit either.
Yeah,
But
and
here we are.
they hang them for 50 million. I mean, that's.
Hingham was close to 60 million. And we toured that a couple months, it is.
Did you drool?
Poor John, I had to drag poor John.
I can't go back there.
Always embarrassing.
And, I even told them that, so sometimes if we have a major incident, we send apparatus to each other's communities to cover and stuff like that. I'm never sending anyone here to cover your station, okay? Because the guys, they'll never come back. They're never gonna come back. Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. It cost them close to 60 million.
Yeah.
They had cost overruns, major cost
It
overruns.
was originally 50.
Yeah, so they had major cost overruns.
They also got land. That's part of our issue.
Right, a part of it, we don't, the town doesn't have any land. If this project doesn't go through, there's no other spot really in town. All the land is owned by private individuals or in trustees of the conservation. And, you know, for us to be up on 3A is a key factor for us to reduce our response time.
The building.
We're lucky to get this one built, you know, to buy a building for $2 million on Tonico asset, that's a steal. I mean,
A lot of it too, there's like, you have to hire a project manager, you have to follow all the state rules and
Oh, yeah.
regulations, that all piles millions of dollars.
that was one of the things that was eye-opening to us is that, so we put it out to bid. There's a general contract that bids, but then there's subcontractors that bid. You just can't, like Dock Ray Construction can't bid it and say, I'll do it for X. Dock Ray Construction bids it, but then also has to bring in sub bidders, the plumbers, electricians, pipe fitters, separate from plumbers, masonry people.
Elevated.
Stuff like that. It's like unbelievable to do a government building. Holy smokes. That's when I retire. I'm gonna do a contract with government construction because it's like, wow.
Do you know who did Situate and do you know who did Hingham?
Yes, it's called Kessel Booz, both. They're a major,
They did both of them?
they did both, yes.
Okay.
And interesting with Situate, Situate was originally committed 18.6 million, I believe. And a phrase that I've learned is value engineering. It's
That's good.
basically a way
That's
to.
good.
The more you spend, the more you save.
Yeah.
Oh,
So they value engineered Situate, they took out square footage and they built for today as opposed to the future. And right now Situate is tearing their brand new station, 7 years old. They have they just commissioned a $200,000 study on how they could possibly increase the size of the female locker room.
Really?
Yeah, so they've already outgrown that, and that's $200,000 just for the study.
Yeah.
Beyond that, they spent, I believe, $300,000 just this last fiscal year to redo their emergency operations center.
Yeah.
It had to be redone, so they're already,
It's technology.
In 7 years, that's it.
That seems to be very popular with municipal expenses, that they do it now and not thinking of the future.
yeah, we really went into this, you know, and that was the first question when we hired the owner's project manager. And besides that, like one of the things I've realized with building something for the government is everybody has their hand in your pocket, even the state. It's crazy, like just permits. You'd think the state would waive the permit fees for a traffic light on 3A, but no, they want their $1,000.
I guess the comment I'd been hearing, and I don't know about the rest of you, was that the more due diligence had not been done before we went to vote last year. And, you know, so you come up with 10, but the due diligence had not been done. I mean, with the regulation and all that kind of stuff. And
That's true. They didn't have the money, is what it seems like to me. They didn't want to get down the same road they did with town hall. They spent about $3 million studying town hall, code compliance and all this, and then it failed. So that's the decision again, this is not.
I'm not
John and-
blaming, I'm
No,
just
no, no,
saying.
no,
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 that's the reason
that's-
behind it.
It's very
I
true
don't
point.
think I have to give that select board credit for trying to be creative, and I think they saw an opportunity. I think they could have done more due diligence because there've been more drawbacks maybe that nobody saw. But to get a spot on 3A was the key.
Really?
The only other
Right.
opportunity would be if you could pay Frank for his nursery land, but you know he told Jeff for 10 million to talk to him.
And then it doesn't put us in the best spot. Up on 3A.
Yeah, you'd be
We want to
too
be
far up.
Sawyer Street at the top, at the end of
Yeah.
Sawyer Street and 3A,
Yeah.
you know. Prime location for us.
Yeah. But,
I agree. I think everybody wants and sees the need for having it on 3A. Is there anyone working on trying to cut some of this? Before it comes to town meeting, it gets defeated because everyone's mad because they didn't do it right the first time, whatever.
Well, that's.
Are they trying to work on making it a little bit more reasonable?
so believe it or not, this is the reasonable version. This is the third
Iteration.
Iteration.
Project, yeah.
and you know, the stuff that we cut out was a lot. You know, you look at the square footage of this proposed building is 23,600 square feet, and there's a slide in there that breaks down the square footage, but 5,000 square feet of this building is going to be used for the mechanicals to run the building as well as to be ADA compliant. Who knew that cells nowadays,
Yeah.
they have to be able to fit a wheel, you know, someone in a wheelchair. We have to be able to have, you know, to accommodate everybody.
Yeah.
What's the size of the building now? Is it 8 or 10?
I'm sorry,
The size of the building?
on Elm Street,
No. The one on King Street.
it is, they're gonna add, it's about 15,000 square feet, and they're adding 8 and 8. Yeah.
It's almost like you need a PR. Because you need to start with the fabulousness of this site,
Yeah.
the location.
Yeah.
All the great things about it, and then it needs a little more square footage. And then it needs a little of this and a little of that, oh, and by the way, and then talk about the budget. Because they should weigh out together in the end when it's I think, when it's presented properly.
No, I agree, and one of the first questions we were asked is, are you building for today? Are you building for tomorrow? We're really trying to build for this to last us 50 years.
Yeah.
And also to include our neighbors, what Situate has, what Hingham has, because Cohasset does not have that.
Yeah.
It's far from it.
And Norwell too. So.
But as gobsmacking as these numbers are, I think it still needs to be thought of as a lot of deferred expense. 62,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
have we got our money's worth and then some?
Yeah.
I don't think it's unreasonable to expect that it's going to be a substantial number that's going to have to be spent in order to bring us up into the 25th, 21st century where it needs to be. And everybody, especially our demographic, probably nobody uses those assets more than the senior community in this town. And they're like the dentist, nobody wants to call, but boy, when you need them, you're glad they're there and you want the best that can be had because that's
That's
we
part
need
of the PRs. This is
Exactly.
1962.
That's exactly.
That's another one.
And it's coming from the harbor to my side of town. I live by the beach football field, and then the gates go down for the train.
Yeah.
Then they still have to
Yeah.
do Beechwood
Yeah.
and get around, all the corners and.
We did a study of how often we get delayed by
Yeah.
the train. It's, you know, documented 60
60,
times.
yeah.
Really?
In a little less than 18 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's,
Wow.
you know, anywhere
Yeah.
from, you know, 30 seconds up to,
2
you know,
minutes.
2 minutes.
2 minutes to the Pleasant Street,
Streets.
I know for a fact.
Mhm.
2 minutes.
Gee,
Pleasant Street.
Back in the old days, the Beechwood
Yeah.
fire station would have been at you in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, that's,
The,
My neighbor's house probably wouldn't come down.
Yeah, right.
So do they say how they wanted to fund this? This is gonna be another Prop 2.5 override or what?
it's gonna be bonded, so
Bonded,
we're
okay.
working on, we didn't want to put a calculator up until we actually have the bids in.
Yeah.
Because,
Don't put
you
it
don't
up.
want,
Tell them not to put it up, because I use that freaking thing. And I'm still pissed, and I'll tell you why, because if you voted for all three, type in your address, and this is how much
Oh,
your
yeah,
taxes
yeah.
gonna be.
Oh,
yeah,
So I did, and my taxes were gonna go up $1,000.
yeah,
Okay, and I'm like, all right, fine, I'll vote for all three,
yeah.
and I'm at an age where I could utilize all three. So we lost the town hall,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah,
that number should have gone down.
Yeah,
My taxes went up 14%
yeah.
the month later.
was it assessed? differently?
14%.
Was your
Yeah,
house
so all of a
assessed
sudden,
or
I'm not saying we had 19 assessors on the next day, but all of a sudden, between that going up and everyone's property being reassessed.
Yeah.
On schedule, it wasn't
Mm.
planned to do that, apparently. Yeah, I'm just dumbfounded. I'm dumbfounded how my taxes went up 14%. And I'm not opposed to this facility, and, you know, we paid whatever it was, 8 million for 15,000 square feet. Now they're gonna ask us for 17 million for 9,000 square feet.
It was
And-
not
and so
2.4
now-
million. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
really,
So now I'm saying, well, if you're gonna bond it, that means something is falling off, right,
Mhm.
off the capital expense. So our taxes are already being used to pay for something, and it gets paid off. Now that money will go to pay off the balance of this facility, which I would be in agreement with, because that makes sense.
Mhm.
You're gonna collect $45 million from everyone in town every year. And you pay off 5 million in debt, you add 5 million in new debt, you still collect the 45 million, and no one's the wiser, so.
Yeah.
So that makes sense, this whole tax override crap,
I know the finance people. You know, I asked this, you know, if this comes in, and the number that you see, the 17 million, that's worst case scenario. They did that on purpose.
Yeah.
We're expecting the bids to be lower, probably by at least $1 million. So say 16 million,
Yeah.
but at the $17 million, I asked the finance people, you know, what's that mean to a person who owns a house that's, you know, $999,000? And they said anywhere, depending on where it comes in, anywhere from $360 to $430 per year, starting in fiscal 28, seven or 8,
Yeah. 27,
depending on when this
28.
gets bonded, and then it falls off from there over the next 25 years.
I just want to quote George Bush, fuzzy math.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We all
again,
remember
these
it.
are my numbers.
Yeah.
Has anybody looked at it from the point of view of with the land, tearing down what's there and building what you want?
We talked to the OPM about that, and he advised against. He said if we keep the building the way it is, that would save about $250 per square foot.
Yeah.
He said there was definite value in
Yeah,
having.
it's a pretty sound. building.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah,
is.
but it
Yeah.
has to be upgraded.
Yeah.
There's different classes of buildings that weren't as, you know,
Are
it's
they-
a class
are they
2,
gonna
it has to
acquire
go
the
to
lot
class
next door?
4. I'm sorry.
There's another.
That's- that's-
This looks longer.
Well, yeah, no, because there is available.
Yes.
Those are available across
Keep
the
it going.
You have a question,
It
Bob?
looks like you got rid of the.
Not a question,
Get rid of
just
this.
a,
No,
a brief comment, me being brief is kind of scary, but, I applaud the chiefs because of what they're trying to do. I went at this for 12 years, and, we'll give you a little bit of, institutional piece of this. This goes back to the 70s.
Yeah,
The thought process of putting a station on 3A.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, yeah.
commission, the study back then
Yep.
was called the Kimball Report, and it specifically said to get rid of the Beechwood Firehouse and West Corner Firehouse and to build one on 3A in the vicinity of Sawyer Street.
Yeah.
And they tried to do that in the 70s. And it didn't fly, mid-70s, it didn't fly, went to town meeting, didn't fly. They were at that point going to build it in essence right behind where Stop and Shop is. And then in the early 80s, they had the opportunity to buy what is now Stop and Shop Plaza. The entire plaza. It was a Ford dealership at the time, it was gonna cost less than $500,000, and the town missed that shot too. So what you see at Stop and Shop Plaza could have been police, fire, bus storage, DPW, you name it. So the town has a massive history of missing all of these shots. And the fact that these gentlemen and the powers that be finally got us to pull the trigger on a piece of property is a huge benefit to us, and the location fits the original study. The town has grown since the original study, and we didn't have a train line running through us
Yeah.
during that original study.
They bought Esposito for 500,000 for this as well.
Yep. So the bottom line is, being someone that was involved with this for many, many, many years, and I was fire chief number 5 that tried to get that done. And John now is fire chief 6.
Yeah.
So,
He constantly blames the last administration.
that's quite all right. So anyways, that's just a little institutional piece of this, that, the location fits. Obviously, what these guys are working out of down on Elm Street is difficult at best. It is, all of that stuff is, shoehorned to that building. And every time we increase services, we
Yeah.
found a way to shoehorn more stuff in.
Yeah.
And it's difficult at best. It doesn't work, but they make it work.
Yeah.
So as someone that was in that building for 42 years, I can tell you where all the knots and everything else are. But the bottom line is, I would, my thought is, it's about time.
Mhm.
Yeah. When you go to those meetings, I would recommend that they find somebody different to present this at the town meeting, other than the usual suspects, select board members and 1 or 2 people from some other committee, because I don't think anyone's opposed to the facility,
Exactly.
hands down.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
The question is,
That really, yeah.
the big question is, everyone's pissed about the $17 million prize.
Yeah.
And then how are you gonna pay for it? Well, if they're gonna bond it, the revenue is already there. It's already being collected. And if they explain to us how this debt is rolling off,
Mhm.
and this replaces that roll off, it's just new debt, then all of that makes sense, and there's very little argument, other than, why didn't you tell us? And you can get over the why didn't you tell us in, I don't know, 38 minutes at town meeting, maybe. Once you get over that, why didn't you tell us, and somebody calls for a motion, then you move on, but I really think that's it. I really think if they really explain to us, the money's already there, don't panic. And this facility isn't for today. It's not for meeting 2030 guidelines, but I think what people have to realize is that this town had to conform to the MBTA zoning bylaws, right?
Yeah.
So, God forbid Hingham Lumber retires and moves to Florida, and that becomes, 900 apartments. Now, what the hell are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Um,
No, that's true, because we're expanding, town of Cohasset is expanding. We're not expanding to Hingham and Situate, we're expanding up.
yeah,
Mhm.
You
yeah,
know, the zoning bylaw allows to build up to 35 feet.
Yeah.
And so they're taking advantage of it. I mean, obviously you have to preserve 200 additional housing units. Same thing, 132 by the train station as it goes by now, 132 Chief Justice Christian Highway. You got 390 Chief Justice, there's a building next to the Stop and Shop, it's always vacant. There's plans, that was just vacant land.
Right.
You got plans for down center of town, the old Hodge Garage. The developer wants to do the same thing there. Commercial on the first floor, residential. You have the development down the harbor,
Yeah.
the condos down there. The gas station that burned. Thank you, sorry. That was, he let me have that fire, sorry. You were pretty close. And there's residential there, so we're seeing more and more residential come into
Oh,
this town in spots that didn't happen. Especially central sewer was a huge factor, that land that couldn't perk. And now you can put a house on, people can live on now because of central sewer.
well, there's 10 acres behind Shaw's that's still open for development,
Right.
it's owned privately, but, people don't realize that that's at the end of town too, and.
Yeah.
You can't expect Situate to call on everything and
No.
that.
I mean, our mutual aid partners, not just for us, but for them, they're just busy as for their own
You guys,
communities.
yeah.
So we're gonna can't say, well, we're just relying on mutual aid partners. No, we can't, you know,
It's really
sadly,
interesting. I mean, on that,
Yeah.
like, on like a random Wednesday or Tuesday, I'll see the Pembroke ambulance here or the Marsh.
Yeah,
ambulance.
really?
Then I'll see the Cohasset ambulance in Hingham up by Derby Shot. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, they never get back to quarters and they
Yeah.
call, dispatch will call them based on where they're at. I mean, they're running everywhere.
Yeah.
It's a lot of medical aids, ton of them.
Yeah.
Well, then too, you guys are dealing with that mental health.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Evoke is a challenge.
Yeah.
At, the old Cohasset.
Yeah.
old-
Yeah.
Are you planning a appropriate size women's locker room?
Yeah, yes, we are. I learned from people's mistakes.
Don't laugh, there's some kookiness going on over there in Situate where I think they
Yeah.
tried to have an all female
Oh.
shift.
Oh, Paul, you gotta, I have to tell you, the original designs, we had a men's locker room, a women's locker room, and then a gender fluid locker room.
Oh,
And then, the same with all the bathrooms. I'm like, this is just,
Yeah.
can we do something with this? So back to value engineering, we combine things. And, there's been comments online, of, why does this storage area, have a toilet and a sink? Well, that's if we end up in a situation where we need a gender fluid
Yeah.
locker room, we're compliant. We don't have to tear the place apart. So we
Good
really
Lord.
thought about this. I mean, the chief has a bathroom. Why have one now? There's
Yeah.
3 garages, we have 3 now. So it's not, we don't want to go backwards.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Is there-
if you're telling people this is for the next 30 years, then they're gonna ask you what's coming down the road in 20 years or 10 years.
You should offer
Yeah.
people a tour.
We're gonna.
My husband went before it, And he came back and he said, I am absolutely horrified and embarrassed
Yeah.
at what those guys are saying.
Oh, with the current, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
we're planning for events like that, people come take tours.
Because he couldn't even.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've given this a good run for its money,
Yeah.
and we're probably not gonna solve it. Thank you
Yeah.
both.
Well,
Oh, no,
we're
no,
behind
thank for
you
your
guys.
feedback. Thank
We-
you for your feedback.
Appreciate it.
And we appreciate what you guys do and
Thank you.
understand the constraints. Thank you.
Thank you.
I do want to share one historical story that one of our seniors who used to be a policeman in the 50s. So in the time, there were no ambulance drivers. The ambulance, and the police station is where Seabird is now.
Yeah.
And if he had an accident up on 3A, he would have to get downtown, park his cruiser in the town parking lot, jump into the ambulance right beside him, and then get up to the accident on
Yeah.
3A.
Mhm.
And that is how the ambulances were driven in the 50s.
Wow.
So. It's a lot to talk.
There's a picture of that ambulance around, so it's like an old Cadillac ambulance. And I'll have to see if I can dig
The
it.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But thank you, everybody, for having us.
Thank you.
It's very
Appreciate it.
nice. And, I realize there's a trust issue with, certain elected officials and things like that. I don't know how to fix that. I just don't. But I ask that, you keep an open mind and, the firefighters, the paramedics, the police officers are here for you.
Yeah.
And we just hope that the town, is here for them. So,
Amen
thanks.
to that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, moving on, subcommittee reports. I can speak for our subcommittee, Tana and Diana and I have
I get the committee.
met with Megan to discuss respective hires for assistant director and director, and we had what we felt was a good conversation, spent some time discussing our ideas about qualifications, about questions, what we might like asked during the selection process, and it was time well spent. And I think the fruit of that has been seen with the hire of our new assistant director, Maura. I think we hit the jackpot with Maura. I think she's
Yeah.
doing a bang up job out there, and
Yeah.
and has very smartly spent the majority of her time sitting at the front
Yes,
desk,
she
learning
wants,
people's
Absolutely.
names, greeting people as they come and go.
that's
and-
right. After just 1 or 2 times in there, she knows everybody. She
Yeah,
says
and a lot
hello.
of Personal contact with
Yeah.
the business that we're in here, as persons. So I've been happy with that. Either of you two have anything you want to say about our subcommittee? Any other subcommittees that we need to hear from? All right,
Where are we on the pergola roof?
There is no pergola roof plan currently. We have been waiting to see what happens with the library's plan to install something like that over there and then see what kind of things work and don't work in order to make a determination. Plus, we also wanted to spend some time, see where the sun was, when, and
Have we done any of that?
yeah, I've sat out there.
Well, so we're not planning anything for next summer?
We're not planning anything currently to put on the top of that pergola right now.
So that next summer it'll be like as it is now? I don't even know if anybody's using it.
I was gonna say,
We had a men's, one of the men's group meetings we had out there. And it was okay, it was comfortable enough. I mean, it was a little spread out and the communication was, you know, a few guys forgot the hearing aids. Became a little complicated, but I did the big, and it's a big concern to me personally. And I think I might have mentioned it before, and it's partly due to the actual condition of my eyesight, is that grid on the top, on the roof, when it's not covered and the sun shines in, it creates this pattern on the ground that is very difficult for me to maneuver because the lines from the roof intersect in a off sequence with the tiles, with the tile work that's on the ground. And I look and it becomes very uncertain. So I think a roof on the thing, I think it's a safety issue, to be honest with you. And secondly, I think if you're going to maximize the use of it, I mean,
So what
I
we
really
agreed
think a
to-
roof, it's
so what we agreed to do is to buy some furnishings to put out there.
yeah, they're nice.
And then with the new director was to start to implement some classes out there to see what type of activities we would have out there, you know, more than just, you know, a social tea. We were looking to have outdoor events that people would want to do out there, whether it's a yoga class over there or whether it's other types of exercise or a gardening club. We talked about having scheduled events out there. And in that process, we were going to identify all of the needs for awnings on the side and the roof. And at that point, because we held up on putting the $6,000 of electricity out there because we don't know what electricity needs we need.
Yeah.
Until we identify what those are now. Because of the disruption in personnel, all of that's been put on hold. And since then, we talked to the folks at the library who said they did studies where they all sat out there at different times to find out where the sun is and where it isn't. Of course, that's a different location than we are. And they already identified some awning vendors and how they want to construct their awning. So that's being put up. So once they start utilizing that, probably in the spring, we'll be able to get some good feedback from them, especially on who the vendors are, because I think one or two of our vendors were fairly expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we weren't sure, and then we had to make sure that these are not going to be motorized, so you can electronically open and close them, which means there's going to be some added weight to this. So we wanted to make sure that everything was stable enough. And so that's where we left off, and I don't see that plan needs any revision to it. I think once we get the new director in here, it's obviously going to be winter time. But it's certainly, we can start planning things for the spring and, you know, as far as budgeting anything for awnings and getting those up, you know, you can put a placeholder in January on the fall, on the Springtown warrant for, you know, say $50,000 as a placeholder for awnings and electrical installation. And by the time June rolls around for meeting, we may or may not want to keep it there. And that it gets approved in June, we'll be fine to go out and purchase awnings. You know? So I don't think we're going to miss a cycle for budgeting it. We certainly have formula grant money that allows us to use that money for that pergola as well. So we have that, and we have 50,000 in our gift account as well. So I don't think we're going to miss not using it, and I don't think we're going to miss not putting, you know, awnings on top of it or anything like that. I think we just have to use it.
Yep.
Just physically use it, yeah.
Yeah, that's part of why I intentionally had
Yeah.
the men's group meeting up there.
Yeah.
To sit with a group of, there's about 15 of us and had our meeting and it's a very nice space.
Do we unlock the doors so people can get back in?
No,
So
that's
we
still
have a
new.
ticket
Yeah.
in with IT. I'll check in on it. That was a couple weeks ago too, and I also noticed that I was locked out the other day, so I'll double check on
Yeah.
that. It's a good point.
I'm just wondering this summer with the heat that we had. There was a lot of times when it was bright out, but you couldn't sit out there, especially
Oh, yeah.
older folks. I just wondered about, were there any occasions where it came up that, gee, we should have done this outside? I just questioned how much need we're going to have for it. Last summer was very hot. This summer was very hot. I don't know if this is a trend.
Well, I think whatever ultimately happens with the canopy of the canvas or whatever on the top will provide shade in
Yeah.
addition and will help that.
Well, it helps, but yeah.
Yeah.
Want to air condition the pergola?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For electricity.
Mhm.
We got that
No.
HVAC system.
I
Oh, yeah.
love sitting
Oh, those
out.
guys,
I
yeah.
love sitting
I
out.
know. it's
But
good.
there is a point beyond which,
Huh.
when 80 is in your rear view mirror, you
Yeah.
cannot sit out
Mhm.
there.
Is the library one?
It's just getting started.
Yeah, but is it gonna be mechanical, electrical, whatever it is?
They haven't got
The-
that far yet.
So the
Oh, they haven't.
conduit's being run for that, but they haven't, so they're not gonna actually have the electrical run, but they're gonna have it so that we can run it when we get the funding to do so. It's being set up so we can run,
Yeah, so the
Electrical.
conduit will be there.
yeah,
Yeah.
but the electrical won't be
Through the
quite
wall,
in place
yeah.
yet. But there is some on the outside wall there at the library, so I don't know for the pergola or whatever, but that's slated to be, that the project is slated to be complete in November, which usually means December or January in my experience. But we'll be able to take a look at a cover for the pergola that they're using at least around that time.
Which makes sense to delay, just. wait
Yeah.
until We see what. if it
That's
works
still
for
plenty of
library,
time, as
we can
Paul said.
piggyback on that.
But we
Yeah.
haven't, for this past summer, we haven't scheduled any programs. out.
No, we didn't have any programming outside, partially because I don't think we got the furniture until about a month ago.
Yeah, middle of July.
Yeah.
Well, you should have the doors open for the community dinner night anyway, for people
Right.
to sit
Yeah.
outside.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
And for the anniversary party, maybe they
Yeah.
can,
Anniversary
people can
decoration.
wander
Yeah.
Yeah. oh, yeah.
around.
We were thinking it might
And
be
see the
nice to have the
gardens.
music out there,
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah, yeah.
that would
If-
draw
if-
people out.
if weather
Mm.
permitting, yeah.
I mean, just prop the doors open.
No, but just.
That's a good
allow it.
idea.
Well, did we just say you can't unlock them?
So right now you need a key card to get back in, but hopefully we'll have them unlocked by then, or, you know, we could prop them open if the weather's in our favor.
Okay, liaison reports. Karen, do you have?
Yes, we do. So, I just wanted to report, our cafe today. We had almost 40 visitors.
Yeah.
And if you add the volunteer friends and bakers, we were about almost 50 people that are involved somehow, some way
Yeah.
with cafe. So it was a very popular day.
It is.
On another note, we were supposed to do our Grandparents' Day, but it wasn't this beautiful day like last year, so we need to cancel. We did, however, decide that in the future, the events that we have sponsoring to, we will be putting up a poster that will say this event or this is sponsored by the Friends of Elder Affairs, and or this is actually, we're doing this event, this is sponsored by the Friends with Heart. And this is our new logo, which is a mix of the Cohasset blue and white and our new with Heart phrase. So that will be, we'll try to fix this to anything that will be going on that we have special money for.
Right.
And then on another note, the Friends was gifted a large sum of money. I don't know the exact amount yet. But to have a party at a luncheon at the Red Lion Inn for celebrating our 16 years of the cafe with the Friends at Red Lion Inn, and it will be on October 22nd. We've invited all of the cafe goers. We will be giving them an invitation. And then we have 20 people from Avalon that will be invited. And then the remaining 50 will come from Laura will keep an eye on, or she will put together a list of people that come to the senior center. And that will be the 120 people that will be going to the luncheon on the 22nd.
Great.
That's
Thank
great.
you. Wow.
Yeah.
So Bob, you'll have to double staff that.
Thank you, Karen. All right, before we wrap up, I've just got a couple of housekeeping things that I'd like to take care of. Last meeting, Marcia was kind enough to take the.
Wait, just one quick
Yes.
liaison. So with the housing piece of it, a big part of what we've been doing for the last number of years is 808 Jerusalem Road, which was the Habitat for Humanity house. They have a final resident that has been selected that has purchased that home. Wednesday, they're having a ceremony, somewhat of a ribbon cutting ceremony at 5:30. Everyone parks at the corner stop. And they're gonna have a ribbon cutting ceremony, and then everyone, I believe, is gonna go into the corner stop.
Yes,
Right,
yeah.
okay.
What was the date of that again?
This Wednesday,
This
the
Wednesday.
10th, right,
I think
at
it's
the end of the
10th.
day. There's already one woman and her son living in one half of it already that we've met a number of times that is gonna be there. So that'll be great. That'll be, it's kind of a monumental thing for the town, because this is the first time that the town has utilized, a minimum of 3 committees to actually create affordable housing in the town, all on its own, without, a contractor building something, and it becomes, because of the town bylaws, he has to do it. This is something that was done intentionally, so that it's a huge thing for us. Very excited to have that, and then of
Well,
course.
it kind of, we're on the steering committee, and then we realized along the way we had to get the money piece of it set up, which had been voted for but never enacted, kind of thing. So it was a whole process to get all the pieces lined up that would allow this.
Yeah, so we had to set up a trust, which is a separate group of people that actually manage the money and actually help fund some of these projects, so. It's a
What
big,
kind of turnout are you expecting?
I don't know, Habitat is putting the whole program together. So they invited all the elected officials.
They invited anybody who worked on the house as well.
Right.
Which was
all
really
the
nice.
volunteer groups.
Yeah.
So big.
Quite a bit, yeah.
Yeah. So is that doesn't include a tour, then it's just outside, people are living there.
Yeah, so there's a 2-family home
Yeah.
right at the corner, and so those families, I'm sure, will be there.
It
And
still looked, I went by on the weekend, it still looked like they were doing work.
I know on
Yeah,
on one end,
right,
yeah, the other one had already moved in.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
Yeah,
I'm curious
they
to see it.
have at other Habitat dedications, had people come in and look at the facility, look at the house itself. Is that what you were asking, Rich?
Yeah, they,
Yeah, well, I mean, I
But
expect.
go in and look and
Yeah,
see
so
what
they-
it
So you don't
is.
go into their house.
yeah, they did allow people to go in and take a look at the facilities.
During this thing on Wednesday?
They won't on Wednesday,
Yes, right,
I
right.
believe,
Yeah,
unless
okay.
unless that end piece, unless the end unit is vacant.
Yeah.
They may,
Yeah.
but.
Who's gonna, I mean, with so many people, or the opportunity for so many people to come, who's gonna be the major domo there? Who's gonna?
Someone's been having that.
keep
So
track?
Habitat for
I
Humanity,
imagine that.
they're running the whole show.
All right.
ED there.
And then at next door, the next stop, what's that all about? They're gonna have some sort of.
Appetizers, I'm gonna guess,
appetizers,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Yeah, that's my guess. Thank people, so. I don't know if Senator O'Connor's gonna go, or our state representative, Machino, she's gonna go. I'm hoping they do.
Yeah.
Any of our town people going? That's
They should,
probably
yeah, town manager should be there.
I'm going. They put me on the roof one day. They said, you're little. You get up on the roof, so.
The major domo.
Megan's always game for
So,
it.
yeah,
Oh,
a year and a half ago,
fine.
we had, Breaking
Yeah, I remember that.
ceremony, right? So we did that. That was kind of one of those 10 in the morning things, and there was no place to park. And so, yeah. I don't know, maybe there'll be leftover heroes from the Greek festival.
Oh, maybe.
It was packed over there.
Yeah.
Even though it rained at 6 in the afternoon.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah.
It was still good. And
Any other liaison business?
other than that, just the 9/11 memorial on Thursday morning. It's only about 15-20 minutes, so it's not a hardship for a lot of people. if they want
Yes,
to
that's a
come.
nice thing to do.
Mm,
That's a
The
lot.
flagpole.
Yep, lovely.
Okay,
I
on
just
to
have a
our,
question for Karen.
yes,
Go back to Karen. So Grandparents' Day is canceled totally?
Right now, and we'll talk about rescheduling it, see if there's a time in October.
I just wanted to say, I had a couple of people say, it's just for little kids. What about older kids? And so I asked my grandson, I said, do you want to go to a thing? And then he was like, what? I said, there's free ice cream. He said, and cornhole, because he has played
Oh, yeah.
cornhole.
there you go.
And he said, I would go if it was free ice cream and cornhole.
How old is it?
So he's 13.
Yeah,
And I don't have a soccer game and I don't,
Yeah.
like I said, but I just would encourage you to think about maybe
Yeah.
a
So we
little
do
older
have-
kids and.
He was less interested in the petting animals.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Okay, so we do have cornhole and we do have free ice cream.
Okay,
Oh, there we go.
so if you get.
David's ears.
David-
It's free ice cream because of the thermostat.
Right.
A little melt if you're.
You know,
putting it in the pool.
Free ice cream every day.
All right,
Thank you, sorry.
so we need to elect our secretary. Marcia was nominated at the last meeting. She had some concerns about being a non-voting member, but that is not a problem. There's nothing in the bylaws that prevents a non-voting member from being the secretary. So her nomination was seconded. I'm going to ask for a vote. All those in favor of Marcia being secretary?
Is she okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right.
Thank you, Marcia.
Yeah, he did an
And the
excellent
final,
job with
the
the
final
minutes.
thing, yes,
Yeah.
that's right. This meeting won't be held on Columbus Day. At the following Monday, I assume,
Yes.
will be what, the 22nd?
No, it's the
20th.
20th,
The
isn't it?
20th, right,
Yeah.
so the next meeting will be on the 20th. And it's been mentioned to me, we might want to consider moving the time up for the meeting from 9:30 to something more like 8:30 or 9 o'clock. Give people a chance to attend more time at the cafe. It might make it more convenient for the front office that has to be here to have more of their morning left over. Anybody have any thoughts about moving the time from
Forever,
8:30 or 9?
but like, or just next month.
No,
think
It's
forever.
already 20 after 11.
Right.
So some of these. things haven't been
30,
long,
okay.
Lunchtime already.
Yeah.
We did have them at 8:30.
No, they were 9, they were 9.
We're 9, we're 9.
That gets us out by 10 or 11.
Okay.
Yeah, 10, yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Everybody think that?
Then we have to miss the cafe.
Yeah, that eliminates the cafe.
If we start at 9, we can be out at 10:50.
Yeah.
Promises. Yeah. Yeah, none.
Well, that was a longer presentation today.
Right, that was an exception, but we
think
are
we could
typically
take
running
that.
an hour and a half
Yeah.
for these meetings, so.
Yeah.
Maybe we
Second
can move
one,
it. Okay, so we like 9 o'clock. All right, so the meetings will be at 9 o'clock. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Seconded.
So moved. We are adjourned.
All right.
It's all right.
nine.